catch me howling at the moon.
And we're live. Look, I literally clicked the wrong button. What's going on, everybody? So as you see, we have a guest.
Hey, everybody.
I was going to do a big reveal. I was just going to like, hey, y'all, guess what I got going on? And I clicked the wrong button. But anyway, how's everybody doing today? So you put Sunny on there. So I'm going to say Sunny.
Okay, cool.
All right. So everyone, if those of you who are familiar with the channel here, you know you have seen this lady. Well, you're in the chat too. You're multitasking.
Well, it popped on my screen, and I was like, I'll just say hi real quick.
Okay. Okay, you guys see the Broken Army is so talented. We are multifaceted. We are men and women of many skills and abilities. Y'all have seen my guest here, Denise Tapscott, in the chat. She's in the chat right now. Mod extraordinaire channel member. Y'all did not know that she is also a vampire as well as a published author. She has written several books. I know I've got two.
Yes, and I'm working on
I've got two.
Mm-hmm.
And the one we're going to talk about is the first one I got here. Hold on, let me pull this up here. I know y'all are like wait a minute, hold on. Published books? Oh yeah, we ain't playing.
Yeah, for real.
Right
I actually flew to Atlanta and gave you an autographed copy.
Autographed copy, absolutely.
Yes, in person. That was fun.
So can I read the little intro here?
Absolutely.
Okay. So see, y'all didn't believe. But there we go. And look, she's actually two places at once. There we go. She mods and she's guest starring on this episode. This episode I'm gonna share some ghost stories that you guys have submitted, but also we're gonna talk about vampires and what's been going on here recently with the vampires of New Orleans.
Ooh.
A lot of stuff. But here, the title of the book is Gypsy Kisses and Voodoo Wishes. I'm going to read it right off of Amazon, where you can pick it up. You can get your own copy. I have my copy. Get your own copy.
Please and thank you. Yeah.
she's like, please. No, it is a great read. What I liked about it, because this version, it says 248 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I had like a smaller one, but it seemed like it was thicker, but it didn't read like a thick book, if that makes sense. You know, like it flowed. It was actually good. Because, you know, if it wasn't good, I'd tell you. I'd be like, oh,
I know.
I know.
Like
it looked like Lucky Mojo published that. But no,
right,
that was
right. Yeah, the way I write, I try to like paint a picture because I'm a very visual person. So I wanted to make it so that when someone's reading it, it's like you could see what was going on. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, like the book to me, even though it would be great for you, but I would, it's one of those things where I wouldn't want to see a movie adaptation just because I wouldn't want them to mess it up.
Yeah.
Because what I love books because I can have all kinds of explosions and special effects and everything. And guess what? It don't cost any more than the book. But for a movie, they have to budget that stuff.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times they tone it way down. And I was really there. I'm gonna go ahead and read it.
Okay.
It says, can any good transpire when Romany magic collides with voodoo magic? For grandmother Zenobia, the answer is unclear. The year is 1890 in Carrefour. Did I say that right? Carrefour?
Carrefour.
Carrefour.
Which it means crossroads in French.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I see what you did there. I
did.
In Carrefour Parish, Louisiana, a voodoo high priestess with a mysterious past, grandmother Zenobia, conceals her magical powers from her grandson, Will. She wants him to have a normal family life, including savory Southern dinners and festive church gatherings. When Will reveals that he's in love with the girl named Sierra.
Yes.
I see.
Yep.
Grandmother is overjoyed. In her excitement over a future wedding, grandmother fails to find out a crucial piece of information. Sierra is not a New Orleans local. She's from the Camelot family. On the other side of the bayou, Queen. Now, I always said Patia.
It is Patia.
Okay.
Yeah, Patia means
say
bitter in Romani. Yeah.
Okay.
Her name means bitter.
Is furious when her daughter reveals her relationship with Will, who is not Romany. To the Camelot tribe, the traveler way is the only way. Desperate to put an end to their romance, Patia casts a spell so effective that even the great grandmother Zenobia can't fix the damage it creates. That was good. It was good. Grandmother Zenobia must decide how much she's willing to sacrifice to retaliate against Patia, as well as avenge her family without losing her soul. Guys, it's a great read. Y'all know I wouldn't bull jive you. It's a great read. Now early on, you know, I used to be a lot, but as I'm getting older, I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. So it is actually a very, very good read. Pick up your copy from Amazon or wherever your favorite books. Just don't go. Look, I know y'all don't go downloading PDFs. We support our own here. You know how y'all do. Don't go downloading PDFs.
Please don't.
Okay. So, Sonny, you know how the broken army is. I love my people, but they'll be downloading PDFs.
Well, if they see me in person, I'd probably give them a copy cheaper. You know.
Well,
don't download. You're not helping.
Would you trade for some stamps?
Yeah, but if they download a copy, then I can't buy more at Hoodoo QVC. So,
which we will be having soon.
Yes, please.
I was going to try to incorporate it into this one, but the learning curve on the other platform, I just use muscle memory over here with StreamYard. So yeah, it just is what it is. But you know, when I first met you all these years ago, because I've known you for years, we were having a chat. What was it like? A month ago, and you were like, "Yeah, I remember from such and such," or you gave me or told me or something. I forgot what year it was. I'm like, I've known you that long?
Yeah.
I think it was like 2017.
Yes.
18, something like that. I'm like, good grief.
We go way back. Yes.
Back when I was young and hale. Now I'm just hell. Totally, it sounds the same, but it's totally different. But I remember early on, we both have this love for New Orleans.
Yes.
Neither one of us is from there.
Not from there. People swear that I'm from there, though. I love it that much. They
I
really
do
do.
too. I know my way around the French Quarter,
Yeah.
but I know why I love New Orleans. What was it like for you that kind of like just sparked?
I want to say it's the people. The people there, they're just so resilient and they're so genuine. As you know, I'm here in California on the West Coast, and people are fake. They look at your shoes and ask what kind of car you drive. So they're not really genuine. And then once they get to know you, then they're great. But you go to New Orleans and people look you straight in the eye and everyone says hello, happy Tuesday. Everyone's just super nice, super sweet. Um,
Well, that's just the South.
Louisiana. Is it the South? Well,
That's just the South.
well, being a Saints fan, they weren't that nice to me in
We
Atlanta.
ain't gonna fall out. We ain't gonna fall
But
out.
that's
Today.
self-inflicted. But in general, it's like New Orleans. New Orleans haunts me that I will have random dreams about just being there sometimes. Yeah. The
Yeah.
food, just
The
everything about
food.
it. The food,
Absolutely.
amazing.
You
The
know, for
local
me, I'm a history buff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like my hidden nerdness. I love history.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't walk anywhere in New Orleans without tripping over some history.
That's very
Like
true.
like early American history as well as
Mhm.
spiritual. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
it's like spirit and New Orleans are like just kind of tied together,
absolutely.
and I
Yeah.
mean just the soul of the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
And hoodoo and voodoo, even though they're not the same,
Not the same.
they tend to mesh pretty well in New Orleans. And I mean, I won't say I have random dreams about being there, but I do know my way around when I go to
Yeah.
the French Quarter. The first time I went to New Orleans, because I
Mhm.
always stay at the same place. I always stay at I always forget the hotel, but I know it's at the corner of Bourbon and Canal.
Oh, okay.
It's whatever that hotel's name is. If there's somebody from New Orleans out there in the chat right now, y'all help me out. But whatever that hotel's name is, right there at the
Well, I
corner of
want to say
Bourbon
the
and
Sheraton, but the
Canal,
Sheraton's a little bit farther
I
down.
stay there.
Yeah.
It's like right down the street from the Popeyes. And let me tell y'all something. Popeyes in New Orleans is totally different
It's a whole different thing.
from
Whole
Popeyes
different
everywhere else.
thing. That's the original Popeyes.
Yeah, you can actually eat the biscuits without a drink.
Yeah, that's true.
So I stay there. And so I came in, I checked in,
Mhm.
and I said, let me go for a walk because the rest of my party hadn't landed yet. And I'm
Oh,
like, oh, I'm here in New Orleans alone.
ooh.
Let's see what kind of trouble I can get into. And I did.
Oh no.
I absolutely
It's
did.
New Orleans. It's New
These are
Orleans.
back in my drinking days. So I left out the hotel, and all I knew about New Orleans was Bourbon Street. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And so I said, Bourbon Street is where I'm supposed to go. And I started walking, and I saw a sign. And this was back when I was crushing natural light beer. That was like my thing.
Oh, the Natty Lights. Yeah.
The Natty Light. That was my trademark, the Natty Light beer.
Yeah.
So I start walking, and I see a sign that says big ass beer. And I said, well, I will be the judge of that.
Yeah. 2 for 1. Big ass beers.
Right. And they were big ass beers. And I saw a sign that said 2 for 1 drinks. And I'm like, surely, they must be the size of a thimble. No, these were like double shots of liquor.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
And for the price of one, you got 2 of them.
2.
And they let you walk around with them.
Yes.
I'm from Georgia. Georgia is not just part of the Bible Belt. Georgia is the buckle.
Oh,
like we just now got the ability to buy alcohol on Sundays, not too long ago.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember talking to you about that. I was
I
like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and you're like, what do you mean? And I was like, it was like a Sunday at 10 o'clock at night. And you're like, we don't have that.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't do that here.
No,
you can't do that here. And if the
you
police see you with a beer, they will lock you up.
Ooh.
Like you cannot just walk around with booze. So when I went there, and I was like, "Whew, that's a lot of liquor," and I want to see the city. They're like, well, just take it with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. They have the drive-through daiquiri stands. Drive-through.
You can drive through and get some
Yeah.
liquor.
Yes. Yes, you can.
I don't even think the faucets in New Orleans give water. I think it's like rum.
Probably.
I think it's rum everywhere. I mean, but
Except the
by
acid
the
test.
time my people got here, I'd had
Mhm.
like 4 beers,
Oh gosh.
1 fish bowl.
Oh
If,
no.
yeah, if anyone is unfamiliar, several places make these. They will give you a fish bowl drink, and if you know, like the little thing where they had it's full of gumballs, it's an actual fish bowl,
Yeah.
but they fill it up with booze, and it's
Yeah.
a rope that they hang it around your neck with the straw, and you just.
Yes.
And I had a hand grenade.
Oh no, no, not a hand grenade.
Yeah,
That's a
the
rookie
hand
move
grenade
right
I think
there.
is just Gatorade and gasoline.
Yeah, it's that 151.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was great.
Oh my
But what
god.
I love more was the ghost. I've often said
Oh,
that since
man.
New Orleans is a bowl, because it all sits below sea level,
Yeah.
and it's surrounded by salt water. It's like a big what do you call the drink that has the salt around it?
Like a margarita?
That's New Orleans.
It is.
It's a bowl rimmed in salt, right? And so I think when people transition in New Orleans, a lot of times they're stuck. They
Yeah.
can't get out. So New
Yeah.
Orleans is like, I told my friend, I said, 1 out of every 10 people you see in the French Quarter at night isn't really there.
Right. I think it's more after Hurricane Katrina, it's probably more like 1 in 7.
Probably.
So many people have passed there. Yeah.
And I mean, you'll see just randomly somebody walking around and you'll think, oh, that's a cool costume. I don't think it's a
Mhm.
costume.
Right.
I think that's actually somebody from like the Civil War or something
It
like that.
could be. It could be. So many people died there. Even like if you pass City Hall, I didn't know that that's where they did the hangings.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull this up, because see, we're speaking about the crazy things that I did in New Orleans, and I don't think people. Oh boy,
Hey, Kirk.
Google is evil, because
Yeah.
if you got Google on your phone, it remembers every picture you've ever taken,
Yes, it does. Yes, it
and
does.
so if I can find this picture, you guys are gonna be like, "What is wrong with you?" And the answer is, I don't know. That was back when I used to drink, and drinking me loved shenanigans
Yeah.
and tomfoolery.
We'd be up early in the morning, shenanigans.
The Discord used to be something totally different back in
It
the
was
day.
a whole different thing.
Whole different ball game. But
Yeah.
I just walk around and get into stuff, in New Orleans. Oh,
Yeah.
I think I found it.
Nice.
Is this
And
the
the thing
pic?
about New
Yeah.
Orleans is
So
you
here we
can go
go.
anywhere.
So guys, before we get into the ghost stories and we explore more in the life of Miss Sunny here. So I went to New Orleans, and I was 3 sheets to the wind. And I turned to a member of my party and I said, I bet y'all I'll walk into that police station and take a picture with one of them cops.
Ah.
And they said, no, you won't. You bet not. And I said, challenge accepted. So I put on my happy glamour. And I walked in. I said, "Hey, y'all, I'm from Georgia, and I always want. Listen, y'all did a good job after the hurricane, and thank y'all for rebuilding this city. And I just wanted to see if I could take a picture with the real New Orleans police officer." And they were looking like, "Is this MF or crazy?" But
Oh my God.
he's looking like, "What is going on?" He's looking like, "What is going on?" And look, I don't know if y'all can see. Look, that was when I had the beard of Abraham.
Oh, I remember
Eyes totally glazed over. Totally glazed over.
that.
I don't I don't know. It like most bad ideas, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Because if you drink enough, you reach the golden moment where everything makes sense to do. Now that's my story, Sonny. I know you have a New Orleans story. We're gonna keep it PG-13.
There's so many stories. Can I tell a small ghost story?
Tell a big one.
When I go to New Orleans, I like to stay at the Prince Conti, which is Bourbon and Conti Street.
Okay.
It's like you can like walk to Bourbon Street. It's like 2 blocks down. It's really small. It's a boutique hotel, and they said, "Be mindful."
Wait a minute. What hotel did you say?
The Prince Conti.
Oh, for a second I thought you said the Cornstalk. But go ahead. I got you.
No.
I want to stay at the Cornstalk.
Yeah, that would be a cool place to be too. At the Prince Conti, they said, "Be mindful of the lady in white," and I was like, yeah, sure. But I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, and I felt like this, like it was cold, but I had the air conditioning on, so I didn't think too much of it. But I turned over, and I see like this figure. You see like a white hat, and you see like eyes and a mouth, and it was a woman, and she was like staring at me, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then nudged my boyfriend at the time. He's fired, but and he was like, "Leave me alone, leave me alone."
Did you have to plug that? He's fired.
Yes, I did, because it was a different boyfriend. And but he was like overly agitated, and I was like, "There's a ghost, there's a ghost." He's like, "Stop." He was really, really freaked out, and I thought she was cool, and then she just kind of dissolved. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Prince Conti, lady in white.
Wow.
I thought they were making it up, but anywhere you go in New Orleans, there's like
that's the thing. Like, I mean, the spirits in New Orleans are thick, and they're so strong. I think concentrated that it's almost impossible not to go there and have a ghost story. And oddly enough, the natives are so used to it that they rarely have a ghost story to tell because they're just so used to it.
Yeah.
Like when I went to Marie Laveau's, what was it? What is the name of that cemetery? It's like St. John number something.
St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis number something.
Yeah.
Whichever one it is, where Marie Laveau is entombed, right?
Yeah.
And I went there, and it was right after somebody had like desecrated it.
Oh yeah.
They painted it pink or something ridiculous.
Yeah, pink latex. Yeah. Well, did you go to that one, or did you go to her real one, which is like a couple aisles down?
I went to both.
Okay, good.
I went to both.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Now the crazy part is this. Okay, after that desecration happened, they started requiring that you have a tour guide to go in. I ain't take me in there. I mean, the fence is only 4 feet tall. And if you're from Atlanta, you can hop a fence. Any ATL natives in here? Listen, chain link don't slow us down. No kind of wall. If you're from Atlanta, you can hop a fence. I don't know. That is just something we able to do. So we waited until it was dark and everybody was inebriated, and we hopped the fence.
Oh no, that would be the one place I would not trespass when the sun goes down.
And there's like a police station right by. Again, golden moment. Everything makes sense. Look, Sherry in the chat. She's from Atlanta, she's like, yes, we know how to hop fences. That's just what we do. So we went in, everything was cool, but you know how it's lined up with rows.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I was seeing like the people I was with, because everyone kind of goes their own way.
Yeah.
They were thinking they were seeing me. We weren't. We were seeing doppelgangers or other people like down the rows.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that happened in that dadgum cemetery.
Yeah.
The second thing was went back later on a subsequent trip. This time someone else paid for me to go on with a tour guide. I didn't even go with the tour guide. I was just like, look, just show your pass so I can get in. I go do my thing. And I
Right.
went back to Relive Over because I had brought her some offerings. I forgot what it was, like some perfume, some flowers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's just sitting there, looking, taking pictures, and
Yeah.
this guy in like an old school brown, almost corduroy suit walks up, looks down, picks up a couple of coins, flips one of them up, and just goes on. I'm like,
should you be doing that, sir?
I mean, and he was an old dude, but I mean, not decrepit old.
Yeah.
But he just went, and then I'm like, no one else saw that but me. And then I thought about it later on. I did not hear any footsteps going by.
Wow.
No, there was no wind. Certain things we don't think about that we perceive day to day. Somebody walks by, you're gonna smell some cologne or perfume. You're gonna feel a breeze when they go by. Maybe they had a little twang to them. You're gonna pick some things up. Footsteps, for instance. There was nothing there. It was like he wasn't there. And this time did not involve a hand grenade.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
And
for the people
hand grenade shops, I'm on the wall. Good way. Because I had an Unbroken shirt on and they liked it so much they took a picture and put me on the wall.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Nice.
No, I'm not on there for like, don't take checks from this guy.
Right. Oh. For the people who've not been to New Orleans, because it's below sea level, they don't bury the bodies. Everything is like in those mausoleums above ground.
Right.
Yeah. And some of them are really, really old. I went with my sister once to New Orleans and we're looking at the dates and they go back to like the 1800s. They're like super old.
Yeah. They are like super old. There's one hotel, and maybe you know which one or somebody can help me out. There's one hotel where they say that if you go up the elevator, sometimes when you get to your floor and open it, you're in like an old like World War II era operating room, complete with nurses and doctor, and you're like, I don't think this is my stop.
Clues.
and that's just something that happens. I've often said that if I ever got rich,
When you get rich.
When I get rich, right? When I get rich, I'm gonna like buy a hotel.
No.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna renovate one of the floors and I'm gonna hire some actors. and security is gonna be able to like run the elevator. So you're gonna be so tired. You're like, oh my God, we just got in. And look, and security is gonna be like, listen, this hotel is haunted, blah blah. You're gonna be like, I don't care. And when you start going up the elevator, they're gonna press a button and you're gonna stop on the mystery floor. And there's gonna be like Harriet Tubman or somebody. I mean, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. We's leaving at midnight. Is you coming? Is you ain't?
Have people screaming in the background.
Right. And people are gonna be just like, oh my God, I've got to stay there. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, we're at like double occupancy, and it's like $400 a night because it's gonna be like a guaranteed ghost experience.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire Zach Bagans and the rest of the tight black t-shirt crew to come up like, spirit, come out, because they love cussing ghosts out.
Yeah.
I don't understand. They gonna run into the right one.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I remember that you used to say that when you were gonna be rich, that you were gonna buy the La Laurie mansion.
I put in an offer on that mansion.
Man.
Knowing I didn't have the money, but you can put an offer in on anything.
That's true.
That's true. Because the La Laurie mansion is so haunted that I don't want to call her Precious. What is her name? Gabby.
Gabrielle Saborde? I can spell it. Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby. She says she'll never go in because they filmed like very, very small snippets inside that place.
Yeah.
And she said she'll never go in there again.
Mm-mm.
Never. She had like negative experiences, kind of like Zach Bagans did when he went into the haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
She had like negative physical experiences in there that had to be prayed away and stuff like that.
Man.
And let me see if I can pull that up. See, that's another reason why I had to use this software, because I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what do I put? Gabby and the Larry. Yeah, yeah. There we
Yeah, I would
go.
not mess with Madame Lalaurie. Ooh.
Yeah, and that's let's see, Madame Delphine Lalaurie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I can't. It's just,
Yeah, Kirk's right. Gabrielle Sibide.
there we go. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that. But anyway, just to paraphrase, because I mean I can't find it right now, but just to paraphrase, what happened was during the filming, because she's really nervous. Some people are just nervous pervis when it comes to spirits and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll, you'll say Bloody Mary, Bloody, and they're like, stop, stop, stop. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
one of them. And
Wow.
so they were filming. She's telling them, like, look, y'all, let's just get this over with. I'm already freaked out. And the other actors and actresses would mess with her.
Oh no.
And they would like chant in Latin gibberish. And the people, like the writers
Mm-hmm.
would like they would just make up some Latin gibberish to summon Papa Leg. But guys, you can't summon a Loa. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
But you would be surprised how many folks, Sonny, a lot of people think American Horror Story Coven was a documentary.
I know.
Like,
I
like,
know.
like it's all real. It's not real, y'all.
It's not real. It's not real. People
But
ask me all the questions all the time because of my book, and I'm like, I don't practice voodoo, right?
wait
I
a minute, you
don't.
don't?
I don't.
What?
It's a book. It's made up. It's not real at all. I actually mix and match stuff on purpose so that you don't give the right stuff out. Like,
But see, at least y'all, this is an author telling you. But see, the problem is, Sonny, you're saying this point blank to
yeah,
folks. Hey, I'm an author.
I'm an author.
I made this up. This was birthed up here.
Birth right here.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be some folks that go, the Illuminati don't want her giving out the truth.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
Like in
the
the book,
Illuminati don't
the
want her
Illuminati.
saying.
Yeah, in the book, Patia, she cast a spell to try to break up the couple. And so what I did was I researched different elements for entirely different things altogether, and I mixed and matched it on purpose. But people are like, where'd you find that spell? Dude, I made it up. I made it up. 2000% made up.
So JW says,
And
"See,
in plain
I'm
sight,
in
right?
plain sight," and that is what happens.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
goodness! But another thing about New Orleans, and we're gonna segue into the vampires of New Orleans,
Yeah.
is just the rich history. I mean, stuff happens there that doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like the Haitian barbed wire. Have you seen the Haitian barbed wire?
The Haitian
Where
barbed wire?
like the walls have broken glass cemented into the top
Oh,
of
oh
them.
yeah, definitely.
Like I
Yeah.
think that's super cool.
Yeah.
The Romeo
The
spikes.
Romeo spikes. I was gonna say the Romeo spikes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
They were not playing.
Like why? Who
They
thinks about a
tried.
father?
A father just wants someone messing with their daughter. Don't be trying to sneak through.
Like good grief. Let's see. New Orleans Romeo. Yep, there we go. Romeo spikes. Here we go. See if I can find a picture.
I mean, they look great.
Yeah, I mean they look amazing. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So these are Romeo spikes.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of homes in the French Quarter, or just
A
building
lot.
structures,
A lot.
yeah, they have these balconies, right?
Yeah.
And of course, balconies have poles. But coming down the pole, you'll see these spikes.
Yep.
And the reason they call them Romeo spikes is, well, if I'm a father
Yes.
That the upstairs quarters are they're going to be upstairs. The sleeping quarters are going to be upstairs.
Yeah.
And I may not want my daughter having company at night,
Especially
but that doesn't mean
uninvited.
she may not want company. You know, thotting is not a new thing. So what happens is, dude comes shimmying up the pole. He goes in the room with your daughter. You hear it. You wake up. Of course, he's trying to de-ass the area real fast. Get up out of there. Well, when he slides down, those spikes were meant to either catch him or castrate him on the way down.
Yeah.
Why they call that Romeo spike, I have no idea.
I think
Because
because
you turned him
Romeo,
into Juliet.
yeah, I think Romeo was a lot older than Juliet, so
Well,
yeah.
they gonna look the same. You don't look like a Ken doll coming down that doggone thing. But yeah, so Romeo spikes.
Romeo spikes.
And a lot of, you would not believe how many ghosts and ghost stories are centered around those spikes. And people have walked by them and felt and seen blood drops from the spikes. People have seen like bodies on the ground, disemboweled, guts hanging from the spikes, and then it's like poof, gone. I mean, it's just this whole history in New Orleans, and that's just human history. But we're not even talking about cryptid history in New Orleans from the Rougarou, which is like their version of the Dog Man, or
what, like werewolves?
Werewolf. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. And the vampires.
That's right.
We cannot forget the vampires.
No.
Sonny, have you ever heard the lore of the Ursuline convent?
Dude, it's in my book. It's at the end. It's at the end.
I was trying to segue into you telling about it.
Sorry.
Well,
yes, I have heard of it.
Perfect. Well, would you like to tell everyone about the Ursuline convent while I pull up a picture?
Well, the research that I did after I went to New Orleans was that there were the casket girls from Europe. I believe it was from France. And they were supposedly sent over to New Orleans because there was a shortage of women. And they're supposed to stay in the convent. And supposedly their luggage was sent, but no one ever saw the girls. And the young girls, they had like suitcases. They were like the size of boxes, like big boxes. But you never saw the young ladies. Somehow they arrived nonetheless at the Ursulines convent, and they stayed upstairs. In the upstairs area, the shutters are always closed. They're never open. They are nailed shut, supposedly by nails blessed by the Pope.
Yep.
Yes. And from what I understand, the only time you've ever seen the shutters open was after one of the hurricanes kind of tore down the shutters, but they got on it and nailed them back really quick.
Immediately.
They have an odd number of windows, which is peculiar. It's not like 2, 2, and 2. I think it's like 5 windows or 7 windows. You can actually tour the Ursuline convent downstairs, but you are not allowed upstairs.
Right. They do not let anybody.
No one.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
And hold on, let me see if I can pull up a big picture. Here we go.
Yeah, there they are.
Why won't you? Come on, thing. I'm trying to get it to share like the big picture.
Yeah, and every time I've passed by there, you just feel like you're being watched.
There we go.
Me being the night person, I'm always walking around at night and doing the nighttime tours and stuff, but you just always feel like you're watched when you stop by there.
Right. And there we go. Okay. So yeah, I heard the same thing because a lot of people don't know, like when New Orleans was established, it was like the Wild West, only it was the Wild South.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to have, your fuzzy wuzzies or your ovary bovaries screwed on tight
Yeah.
if you were going to live here, because
Yeah.
besides like the natives who would delete you quickly, there's also like a climate that was rife for like disease in a
Yes.
time where there was like no modern medicine.
Yeah.
And you know, ladies didn't really like that.
Mm.
And men don't tend to act right when it ain't no ladies, because you know, going up and down the Mississippi, the steamboat captain. I mean, it's look, it started out the murder capital of the world, and it ain't changed.
I know. I know.
It has not changed. The only thing that has changed is the size.
Yeah.
So, since at the time New Orleans was a French colony, they wrote back to King Philip and was like, "Listen, these dudes going crazy. We need some women down here,
Yeah.
quick."
Quick.
And so, yeah, he did, but he didn't. He sent some girls,
Mm-hmm.
the casket girls.
The casket girls.
And like Sonny was saying, you know, now I've heard two versions. Some said they never saw them. Some said
Mm-hmm.
that they did, like they were catcalling, and they were like, "Oh no, we have got to train them up to be proper wives." And the dudes
Mm-hmm.
were like, "I don't want no proper wife. I want somebody right now." And they went to the convent, and the nuns would teach them how to be a proper lady in society.
Yeah.
But from the version I heard, shortly after they arrived, well, there was like all kinds of illnesses. Well,
Oof.
no, only one, but it was hitting a lot of people.
Oof.
There were like mass deletions going on through the new
Oh.
colony.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bodies coincidentally drained of blood.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on which story you heard, like they were called the casket girls because the little boxes. Some
Yeah.
say that they were human-sized steamer
Yes,
trunks.
they said they were big. Yeah.
Others said that they were very small, which,
Mm.
you know, could be. But one thing, if you look on this picture here, and those of you who are gonna watch or listen to the podcast in audio form later on, I'm just showing a picture of the Ursuline convent, and it's what is it? Ursulines. You can Google the picture. Like Sonny was saying, if you look up at the very top, those windows up here
Mm-hmm.
are always shuttered,
Yeah. Always.
always shuttered. And yeah, the lore says that they were shuttered
Mm-hmm.
and nailed shut using silver nails,
Yeah.
allegedly blessed by the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
And also, because you got to say allegedly, because we weren't there,
Right.
and the Vatican is not going to admit to it. But also allegedly, like early on in like the 80s, when Pope John Paul came to visit New Orleans, he
Mm-hmm.
re-blessed them
Oh wow.
because one of the windows came open.
Mm-hmm.
And amongst people around there, in the spiritual center of things, everyone knows if you ever see one of these shutters open, to get inside and stay inside.
Yeah.
Now, now see, that was like one of those things. It's kind of like hoodoo, where it's like we all know about it, but no one really talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like everyone here knows about hoodoo, but people don't really talk about it, much to the chagrin of the modern day hoodoos and young elders. But everyone knew, like, listen, if you see that, just go in the house.
Go in the house.
But since everyone's spreading and talking, now they've discontinued the tours. I don't know if they've started back up post-COVID, but I
I
know
don't know. I
when I
haven't been
went
since
years
post-COVID.
ago, you weren't able to go in there. Like they call it the old Ursuline museum.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you
it's a
can visit,
museum that you
but
can't tour.
before the before COVID, they had like certain days and hours, but they was really short. Where you
Mm.
could actually tour the museum. I was
And
like, I'm not going in there.
Sonny, were you around my old Instagram lives,
The
like
Instagram
back in the
ones?
day?
No, just your YouTube ones.
Okay. I used to be on Instagram and I would do lives.
Hmm.
They were Liddy Von Lichtenstein.
I believe it.
And yeah, because I was in New Orleans.
Ooh.
Lit. And I did a live stream right outside of that convent.
Ooh.
Right outside. It was funny because the people I were with, they were lit too. So they had like the flashlights on their phone, and they're like casting lights on me like I'm a celebrity.
Oh gosh.
And I'm doing a live stream, and a
Yeah.
cop walks up, and he's like, "Is this somebody famous?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, I'm just going on with it, right?
Yeah.
And the cop tells us a story on live.
Ooh.
He said, "You know the history of this place?" I said, "A little bit. You know, I'm trying not to breathe on him too heavy, but I'm sure, you know, he knows like drunk
He
people.
knows the stories, yeah.
Yeah. And ironic, he wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm like, how do you not wear? But anyway, so he tells, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of that. You know, I'm currently on live stream, whatever.
Yeah.
And he says, you know, we had some ghost hunters that came and set up out here.
Oh wow.
And we tried to tell them that it wasn't a good idea because there's a street right there. I'm gonna see if I can shrink it. But anyway, there's a street, you know, of course, because you know, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were across the street. And he was like, I tried to tell them, but they weren't encamped. They weren't blocking the sidewalk, so there's nothing we could do. We're just trying to persuade them not to like set up here. And they had cameras and everything.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
what he told me was, and I haven't been able to find evidence of this, but I'm gonna tell you something else, and it'll make sense. J-Dub, this is like a conspiracy theory thing. What he said was that those ghost hunters set up there, and they were told not to, but they did it anyway. They tried to set up patrols to go check on them, but you know it's New Orleans, so you can't devote manpower to like one area.
Right.
He said the next morning they were all found deceased.
Oh no.
It was a group of like 3 or 4. They all had their wallets. Their camera equipment was still there.
In New Orleans?
But I'll just say they were noticeably paler.
Oh.
They were noticeably paler. And could he have been jerking my chain because I haven't been able to find this? Absolutely. But it's funny, this comment right here. Terabatia said, wish there was a replay for that.
Yeah.
That replay was gone off of my IG account that I had at the time.
Oh wow.
Gone.
Wow.
Gone, because I wanted to like see, you know, I thought it was cool. Everybody shining a light on me. It was like,
can I have your autograph?
you know, but
wow.
it was I didn't delete it off my account.
Yeah.
I didn't have that much to drink. I didn't delete it off my account.
Yeah. Wow.
It was deleted.
Man.
So a lot of people theorize that right there is the time that vampires first touched base here on American soil. It's theorized.
Interesting.
Because when we look at paranormal stuff, we'll look and go, well, you know, these people made this up, or those people made it up. But there are some things that are universal around the globe that is like we all decided to make this up in our own culture. Because, you know, before the internet, before cell phones, we all decided, like for instance, dragons. Why does everybody have dragons?
Everybody has dragons.
Dragons were a part of Indian mythology. When you go to England, of course, the knight would always slay the dragon.
Yeah.
Look in Asia, the year of the dragon. So I think there were dragons. Somebody just killed them all.
Yeah, you have the Chinese ones and you have the Japanese ones.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody had a dragon. We all made that up. Another thing is vampires. There's vampire lore everywhere. There's werewolf lore all around the globe. And we tend to only look at stuff through our lens.
Yeah, there's graves in Europe where the bodies, their arms are crossed and the head is separated from the body.
When you look at like certain Native American tribal beliefs, you know, they don't call them vampires, but that's what they're describing. They're like, I mean, they're everywhere.
Everywhere, even
So
like Japan, they have their version. Like it's a fox that turns into a vampire. I mean,
no,
it's a fox that turns into a person vampire. Yeah, like each culture has like their own versions of
their
vampires.
own version. So
Hmm.
if we're all, in the same lane, it's got to be true to an extent. I feel that way.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. I mean, I can't say it's got to be true, but it's awfully suspicious that, when I was growing up, I live in Georgia. I couldn't even call Alabama because it cost a whole bunch. So I can't imagine people calling all around the world
Right.
going, hey, let me tell you a story about this big fire breathing lizard we got here. We weren't sharing stuff like that
Yeah.
back then, that we can
Right.
all have it for generations through multiple cultures all around the globe. So I
Hmm.
think, I mean, there's a reason that they don't let anybody go up there, because even when there were tours, they never let you go upstairs.
Never go upstairs. No, not allowed.
And some people who have gone up there said all I saw were boxes.
Right. And that's what I heard too. Like, oh, it's just for storage.
Right. And I'm
Boxes.
like, yeah, it's something in those boxes.
Hmm.
So, Sonny,
Yeah.
do you think the windows are nailed shut to keep things out or to keep things in?
I think to keep things in. That's what I think.
The undead?
Yeah,
That's what I think too.
that's what I think. For real. Yeah.
I think every so often one gets out
Oof.
and wreaks havoc. Then they got to come
Yeah.
back.
Well, I think there's other vampires out there too. I remember taking a tour and they were talking about that there are these two brothers that lived in a building a couple of blocks down, and they think that they were serial killers because people would end up
Mm-hmm.
missing. Then they would put the bodies in limestone to dissolve the bones and stuff. Yeah, I
Yes.
think that they were probably vampires too. People
Which
missing.
excellent segue. We're here because the current situation in New Orleans, the current vampire situation, involves Vampire Jack. Are you familiar with Vampire Jack?
Vaguely, is that? Oh, why don't you tell me? Because
See,
if it's
there we
who I
go.
think it is, yeah.
So get this. In Look, I feel like I'm having a Golden Girls moment. I'm Sophia. Picture this, Sicily. No, picture this, Europe, 1691. A man by the name of the Count of Saint Germain was born.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. Even today, his real name and origins are unknown. We just think
Hmm.
around there as he was
Yeah.
born. He grew up, started traveling, told tales of how he was really deep into alchemy, metaphysics, and spirituality.
Hmm.
Of course, at that time, the world was kind of ripe for that type of stuff, and
Yeah.
people loved it and they loved listening to him.
Yeah.
Right? He would host lavish parties, and people would call him the Wonder Man.
Hmm.
Voltaire himself referred to him as the Wonder Man.
Hmm.
One of the stories of the Count Saint Germain is that he would hold these lavish parties, and everyone would go, and then he would go off on travels.
Hmm.
He moved around a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is odd because he had a lot of money. You'd think he didn't. He moved around. One lady who had known him in her youth, she was now, well, back then old, but she was like 50. But back
Right.
then, you ready for the upper room at 50, way back in the 1700s.
You're lucky to get past 35.
Right, right. If you make it to 50, they're like, oh, we going to the upper room with Jesus. That's where you're going. That's where you're going. So, he's this lady's like, a party. I wouldn't mind going to a party. And she goes and she sees the Count Saint Germain.
Hmm.
And she goes, well, surely that's his son or his grandson. Because he had not aged a bit.
Yeah.
And in her mind, she's like, oh, well, children or grandchildren will look like the person you knew
Right.
back then,
Right. Yeah.
Well, she walks up and introduces, and he doesn't even try to hide. He's like, no, this is me. She's like, but you haven't aged a bit. He's like, oh, yeah, I conquered all that. I found a way. I fixed all that.
I found a way. I found
Right.
a way.
So
Yeah.
I found a way. I fixed all that.
Yeah.
Now, let's fast forward. Let's see how far we fast forwarding. Because the thing is, he was so beloved. Everyone listened to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was well spoken. He was a traveler, and he could tell some awesome stories from, like, he went to France.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, we've documented how long he's lived. We've actually documented it, but we say he was seen here, he was seen there, but it spans like a couple of 100 years. This man he was like Old Testament living. I mean,
yeah.
you know, he's theorized to have been born around let's see, what did I say before?
1690.
1691. He was seen in England in 1745. He appeared in the French court in 1749, the Dutch Republic in 1760. He composed a lot of music. He supposedly died in 1779, but then he was seen later on in 1784.
Popped up again.
Yeah. And then he disappeared. After he was seen, he disappeared.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to modern times, shall we?
Yes, let's.
All right. This because stuff is like in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
It's in plain sight. Oh, there we go. Because he was lost around 1790, just disappeared.
Disappeared.
But in 1902, in where? New Orleans.
New Orleans.
A guy pops up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wealthy aristocrat from France by the name of Jacques. Saint Germain. Not the Count of Saint Germain.
Right.
Jacques. This time he knew better than to say, yes, me.
Right.
So what he said was, I'm a descendant of the Count of Saint Germain.
Right.
See, he had already figured out people don't trust when you like just don't age. So he was like, oh,
right.
No, that's my great granddaddy.
Right.
Okay. And just like his great granddaddy, he threw lavish party. Yeah, his great granddaddy, right? He threw lavish parties. And one thing about New Orleans that has not changed, they love to party.
Absolutely.
And they know how to party.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do. They really do.
So he was throwing a Lalaurie-esque party. Woo! And there were screams being heard from one of the rooms.
Oh no. Oh no.
So people were like, huh, I do declare.
I declare.
What is the old school New Orleans accent?
It's almost like a New York accent, the way they talk with that drawl. Baby.
What I did just then was Savannah.
Yeah, that wasn't.
That was Savannah.
That was
definitely not New Orleans.
That was not no New Orleans.
That was not New Orleans.
No,
but they heard right. They heard the screaming. They go to investigate. Like, what's going on? Jacques, comes out of a room, dabbing his mouth, going, I don't know what's going on. When in doubt, deny. I don't know what's going on. But what happened was someone had jumped out of a window and broke their leg. So they go outside and there's a woman outside his window.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. But she's laying there with a broke leg, like, ow.
Like, ow.
Like, ow. And they're like, you just jumped out the window? Why you didn't run down the stairs? She's like, I just jumped out the window. Somebody, please take me to the police station. They're like, what happened? Take me to the police station. So they take her to the police station. The police were like, what is wrong? And she's like, listen, I was partying at Jacques' house, like everybody else.
Like everybody else.
He invites me up to the room. I say sure, because thotting ain't a new thing. said he started putting the moves on me. I go with it for a while until he pushes me up against a wall and bites my neck. Sure enough, she had a bite. She had a bite wound on her neck.
Oof.
She said, the man is a vampire. They're like, oh my gosh. Well,
you need a doctor.
Well, I guess we need to investigate this. Somebody take her to the hospital. Look, Lily in the chat. It's like not the ER. No, she wanted to go to the police. She wanted to go to the police. So they go. They're like, Mr. Saint Germain, could you tell us what happened? And in typical dismissive fashion, he goes, I don't know. The heifer was drunk.
Oof.
I don't know what happened. They said, well, we're going to need you to make a statement anyway. Come on down to the police station tomorrow. That's how I know he was white.
Right.
Because if he was black, he'd have been gone right then.
Right. Cuffed up.
Right. But they said, just come on down tomorrow and tell us your side of events.
Please make your way on down.
Yeah. Ease on down the road whenever you can, down. Sir. So he doesn't show up. Surprise. They go to his house. He's gone. It's also shocking, right? He's gone.
Right.
It looked like, of course, he'd taken his like jewelry and whatnot, but the majority of stuff was still there. But one thing that they found absent? Food. There was no food. It looked like the only food that was there was for the party. There was no pantry, no larder, no ice box, none of that. He had no food. And they looked at his wine collection. They found bottles of blood mixed with wine.
Ooh.
Bottles of blood mixed with wine. So I said we were going to talk about recent events.
Yes.
There's been popping up more and more vampire or vampire-like attacks in the French Quarter by a guy that everyone just says is Jack.
I have heard if you see some random guy on Bourbon Street and he's like giving you like some serious like connection, like he's like staring at you, then look away. Don't look at him because he'll draw you in.
Well, we do that in Southwest Atlanta too.
Stare someone down.
like somebody just stare at you like, hey. Yeah. But yeah, like Vampire Jack is supposedly on the prowl again, and there seemed to be an uptick in mouthy assaults.
Assaults? Like
yeah, like they don't just rob you; they want to bite you, which is weird in and of itself. But I will say this: the lady that got bit by Jacques Saint Germain, up and died in the hospital.
Well, yeah.
Now, Sonny.
Yeah.
Because I know you're in Discord.
Yes.
And everybody else, I'm gonna put this up to you guys because I've had a change of thought when it comes to vampires. I used to think it was like, say, modified hemophilia.
Oh.
I was thinking more bloodborne, pathogenic illness. But I forgot that when you look at the old stories, it was always the result of a curse.
Oh.
It was always the result of a curse. You cross some old Strega practicing witch over there.
Right.
And she's like, you'll never see the sun again. We both did the till you do right by me.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Romani were always known to curse people and turn them into werewolves.
Yes. Yeah.
So if we look at spirituality as opposed to physicality, then it makes sense about Jacques the Count Saint Germain back in the day. He's dibbling and dabbling, and he was like, I turned myself into a vampire.
Yeah. I could see that. I could
definitely
see that. Yeah. To me, I like to think that there are at least 3 different types of vampires. So
Mm.
first, there's like the hemophiliac one that they actually need blood because they have that blood disease.
Okay.
I do think that there are those vampires that they're like, I want to suck your blood, that want to live a long time. But I also believe that there are like energy vampires. There are those people that will like literally like talk to you, and when you finish talking to them, you're like, whew, why am I so tired? It's because they just have like this presence and they're like kind of feeding off of your energy, that you just have to get that personal battery and put up those defenses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I know a few of those.
the show, What They Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, I know a few of them. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you know,
He's
what was
like,
it
what's
Steve
wrong
Harvey
with you?
said? Like if a family member call you, like just let it sit for 30 days before you call them back. Hopefully they'd have figured out whatever they call for. I have some friends like that. Prophetic Lex is not in the chat, but me and her laugh.
Oh.
We used to talk about say it's some people we scared to check on because we know they're about to start begging. So,
Yeah.
so you hate to be like, hey, how you been? Like, oh Lord, dang, here we go.
Right. Why'd you ask? Because
Like, I
that's
don't
a whole day
just being polite. I
conversation.
really don't want to know.
And you can't get away from the
No,
conversation.
you can't. You
What's the
can't get off
time?
the phone. Then they're gonna
No.
start checking on you with hopes
Right.
that you're gonna get like, hey,
Yeah.
how your mama did? I'm like, dang.
Oh no. Because you don't
But
want
yeah,
to be
okay.
rude,
The
but
second type. I mean, the third type. What's the third type of vampire?
well, to me, the third type is that energy vampire that like sucks all your
Oh, okay.
energy. The second one is like that immortal one, which are I think probably are real. The one that we see in history through the different countries and stuff. Yeah. The one that has been cursed somehow. Some people think to actually go back to Egypt, which I'm kind of doing some research on for my next book. Yeah.
You know what? Anne Rice.
Yeah.
Anne Rice.
Queen of the Damned.
That was how her vampire and the Anne Rice thing.
Yeah,
Anne
vampire
Rice
was
universe. Her
oh yeah,
vampires
yeah, yeah.
came from
They came from Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Kemet.
Yes.
Kemet.
Kemet.
Whatever.
Yeah. I know
Whichever.
what you mean.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I listen. Look, you're gonna have my Hotep and army members popping up with their unks. I told you, prophet. Like, man, sit down.
Under his eye.
They can't wait to pop up. I'm like, everyone's like, yeah, I practice the Kemetic science. I'm like, where are the Kemetic priests teaching y'all these Kemetic sciences?
I don't think I want to know where they are.
I don't think it's
You
anymore.
know, the Illuminati.
Stop. There we go. But
yeah.
you know, of course, there's going to be some people who think the whole vampire thing is just based off of like mankind and womankind fear of their own mortality,
Right.
and the desire for infinite life. But
Yeah.
I just don't think that. I don't think it would be as widespread as it is. Tara Batia says once you start talking about Kemet, you have to start saying you understand, overstand, and ultrastand.
Ultrastand.
You know what? Ultrastand. I cannot stand that.
You
When
can't
people
stand
like,
the
I
standing.
overstand. I'm like, shut up.
Oh, my stars.
Can we normalize telling another human being to shut up again? Because you know, you can't say stuff like that nowadays.
You
But
hurt my
can we
feelings.
normalize it again and be like, shut up?
Man.
I know some people, you tell them to shut up, act like you just shot them.
Right. Right. Whereas I would be
Like-
like, I'm going to bow out gracefully and just walk away.
Like their level of offense
Sensitivity?
is
Yeah.
physically painful. You're like, shut up.
But back to what you were saying, I think like in the 80s and 90s, that was a really big thing. Like you can see old documentaries about people going to vampire parties because they just wanted to be vampires. They weren't real vampires, but they're the ones that would like take razor blades with like the consent of another person and like drink their blood, and they'd work like the fake teeth and all that because they wanted to be vampires.
Yeah, I mean, that still goes on.
It still goes on.
Like what do they call with like the emo kids?
Yeah.
Back in the day they were goths. Now
They were
they're
goths, yeah.
now
Emo
it's the emo
kids.
kids, and they'll still do
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, consensually like lick each other's blood and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
down here we have a saying like, if you campaign long enough, you'll eventually get elected.
Oh,
Or some people will say, all right, you hang around the barbershop long enough, you're gonna get a cut. And you're right. Like even in New Orleans, there's a vampire bar.
Do you remember this? Are you going to tell us a story about when you came across some vampires? And
Yeah,
then
don't go
the
there.
password?
That's all I'm gonna say. Don't go there because and perfect because if you people will like have parties to pretend, and what's gonna happen is one of these days it's gonna be like a Blade movie where you at a rate and then the blood will start coming out. You like,
is it food coloring?
The next thing you know, it's like, you campaign long enough, you will eventually get elected. Yeah, I went to a vampire bar, and I forget where I was. I was in one of the stores, and this lady, and it was so sketch. And I know, like it's well known now, but it wasn't back then. It was so sketch.
I want to say you said you went to like a bookstore or something, and
yes, it was a bookstore, and she was like, "Hey, if you want a good time," and I'm like, "Hey, there's two things I don't pay for: that and water." She's like, "No, parking. Those are two things. Because I'll buy a bottle of water, but two things I don't pay for: that and parking. If I just keep going around the block, either one of them will come up. Oh my
gosh!"
So, but no, she was like, "Yeah, guys, it's a true story." And if I don't know where, I think it was on Discord or somewhere, but I've told this before. But she was like, "Hey, well, if you want a good time, there's like a little, behind the scenes club." And I'm like, "Well, okay, cool. I love speakeasies." Yeah. I took somebody on a date up here to a speakeasy in Atlanta, right? And the speakeasy is it is like a pizzeria family restaurant up front. But if you know the code, you can go through the freezer door, and there's like an adult bar in the back, but it looks like you're going through a big metal freezer door.
Oh, right? Wow.
And so I took my date through that. She's like, to this day, she think I was trying to kill her.
Oh
no. She thought I was taking. I'm like, what? She was like, yeah, I thought you were trying to take me out.
Wow.
Because she was like, I was like, where were we going? She thought I was like some underground, no Diddy.
Oh no.
Too soon?
I think so.
A little bit. Okay.
Just a little.
So
it's a little ditty.
Anyway, the lady was like, here's a card that has the address on it. And she said, you're gonna have to tell the door person something. I said, tell them what? She said, tell the door person the vampire sent you. And I'm like, okay, this is New Orleans. Nothing surprises me. This is New Orleans.
Right.
So I go, and it's this weird. It's like there's a building, but then Natalie, stop. Well, there went the monetization. No, I'm just kidding. So it's like you have to go through a bar. Then there's like a back door that goes up some real shaky, janky steps.
It's New Orleans.
And then there's like it's just a door. It's not it doesn't look like a bar. It's just a door. Like it's just a door. And then I'm like, knock on the door. And there's this guy. Can I help you?
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, the vampire sent me. And then all of a sudden he just, well, come on in. And I'm like, whoa, you too happy there, cowboy. And you go in there, and it's not like a party.
Oof.
It's like depressing almost.
Oh no.
It's really small. It's really crowded.
Oh.
There's not a lot of, and people are just there. But one thing I did notice, not everybody had a drink. And remember, I talked about there's always something you just perceive when you go places. You may not know about it, but you perceive it. I'm like,
And then later you're
Everybody
like,
gonna
wait
have
a
a drink here.
minute.
Like
Yeah.
when you go to a bar, everybody got a drink, whether it's water, a Coca-Cola, a beer. Everybody has a drink. But there was some people just sitting.
Wow.
And I'm like, no Diddy. No Diddy.
No.
But that was, that was interesting.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I love, speakeasies, but not one where I'm on the menu. Oh,
You're right. Yeah.
no, I'm
Pass.
cool. I'm
Pass.
cool with that.
Yeah.
My next one, I'm gonna go to the red phone booth when I go back home. That's a cool speakeasy.
Ooh.
But I ain't going to that thing. Nope.
No. We have one in LA called the Barbershop. Same thing. There's like someone in the front, they're cutting hair and all that, but you know the password. Then you go past and like there's a bar and restaurant in the back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, in Atlanta, we got the red phone booth
That's cool.
where if you get the code, it's a phone number.
Oh wow.
And you go into the phone booth and you dial it and it opens up.
Dialect.
Yeah. And it's a rotary phone. So you gotta
How does this thing work?
Sonny, no lie. There were some drunk college kids, and you would have thought they saw hieroglyphics when they saw that rotary phone. They were like, bro, what the fuck is this?
I've seen videos on Instagram and TikTok where people don't know how to use like rotary phones. How does this thing work?
They were pressing like, what is this? They're like, it's busted. As soon as they left, I'm like, and see, back in the day, if you were really cool with it, you would like push, but you don't take your finger out of the hole, pause, and push it back so you can dial really fast. See?
Yeah, my dad used to say, make sure you keep dimes in your pocket so you can make a phone call.
And see, look, people don't know anything about that now.
No, not at all.
We have the sum total of human knowledge right here, and we getting dumber by the year.
Oh no! How do people not read cursive?
People not writing cursive anymore.
Oh, no.
So listen, I don't know.
But that's why, like at my Muggle job, I just tell people I'm a vampire because I've been around such a long time. Yeah, just
listen. I remember a time when the computers were progressing so quickly that if you bought a computer in January, it was obsolete by like April.
Yeah.
So fast.
And they get smaller and smaller because they used to be huge.
Like I remember powered by Pentium, like
yes!
super fast. When we were still clocking stuff with megahertz, 66 megahertz.
God.
Then it was 100 megahertz.
Yeah.
And then it was all kinds of hertzes. And it was all about computing power. And they were powerful and they came with a thick manual. Now we have more computing power right here than they had going to the moon. And all they do every year is make a better camera.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We don't even remember our phone numbers anymore.
I know.
I remember my phone number, my aunts, my grandmamas, my best friend. We remember everybody's number.
Yep.
Now,
oh yeah, Natalie.
If
she says, I remember you couldn't use a house phone and the computer at the same time.
Yeah, and get so mad at your mom or whoever picked up the phone.
Yeah,
because you could hear their voice coming through the line, the modem. Hello, hello. You like, dang.
Oh no, get off the phone.
Well, look, we've been on an hour and 20 minutes. I think there's a good time.
My stars. Yeah.
Listen, you got to come back.
Yeah, I do, because there's so much more I want to talk about New Orleans. Like, we didn't talk about the Axeman. We didn't talk about Annie Christmas.
Okay.
Ooh.
Listen, speaking of Annie Christmas, this upcoming webinar, we will be doing an enemy ritual with Annie Christmas.
I was wondering, because you had mentioned something about a string of pearls, and I was like, huh.
Yep.
Huh. Oh, wow.
So that's what we're going to be doing.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
This upcoming webinar on the 29th, family, on the 29th, we will be doing aside from working with oil lamps, we'll be building oil lamps, making them for a bunch of different conditions. We'll also be doing a live ritual, enemy ritual with Annie Christmas. So a list will be sent to everybody who is attending. Please feel free to sign up. Go to www.trueconjure.com/welcome. Go to the current webinar section and go ahead and sign up.
I will be
And
there.
while you're at it, look, am I pointing the right way now?
Yes.
While you're at it, pick up a copy of Sonny's book, Gypsy Kisses and Voodoo Wishes. Look, I wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't a good book. It's a good book. It's a great read. You know, you can download it to your Kindle, which I don't have one anymore, but I love Kindles. I'm gonna buy myself another one. And stay tuned because she's got a second.
I do. Our second book is
out.
called Enlightening of the Damned, and there are a couple of cameos in that book, including somebody you might recognize. It's absolutely cute. I got it back from the editor, so I have to make the adjustments to her suggestions, send it back, and then off to the races. Yes.
I'm gonna write a Hoodoo book at some point.
You should. I keep telling you I'm gonna help you with it.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
It's just
the hardest part really is just getting it from your head to the screen or onto paper. Because once it's out, you can fix it and adjust it and flip it, all the stuff.
That is going to be the hard part. I mean, I know it. It's just
like trying to find the time and then just doing the download.
You know, my issue is when I look at the Hoodoo books that are out now, right? Most of them are garbage.
Yeah.
I have three issues. One, most of them are garbage. Two, the ones that aren't garbage are woefully incomplete.
Yeah.
And three, unfortunately, even if they were great, they promote laziness. Because I had like say my webinars, right? My webinars were set where you could view them 3 times.
Oh, nice.
You know, and I'm thinking, okay, the webinar is like an hour long. You can watch them 3 times. You're great. But the problem with convenience is convenience will a lot of time provoke laziness. And awesome, guys, you can look in the chat. Tarot by Tia put the link to the book right in there.
Oh, thanks, Tia.
So y'all go ahead and in the chat and click it. What I'll do is I'll pin that.
And if you're in Discord, if you have questions about it, like hit me up. I'll be happy to answer any questions about the story. No spoilers unless you want spoilers.
Yeah, right. Like y'all don't ask. Will you tell me what the book about? Go buy the book, y'all.
Actually, I'm taking classes to learn how to narrate my own book because a lot of people, they say I don't like to read, I don't read, but everybody like wants to listen to it. So that's like my next project.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And eventually you could hire Morgan Freeman. Because
to read my book.
I would listen to anything Morgan Freeman narrates. But no, it's people would constantly, when talking back to the webinar, they'd hit me up and go, Prof, they put the webinar on in the background. And I'm like, and then they want to ask me about something that I clearly went over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you did not just play it as background noise, but you approached it as actual study, then you wouldn't have to come back and ask me. And then I get upset, and then people are like, oh, Prof is so mean. I'm like, I'm not. But how many times it's like somebody messaged me and they were like, could you tell me how to and again with the crossroads dirt. Again with the crossroads dirt. Like, can you tell me how to get the crossroads dirt? And I'm not gonna say where they lived because they told me because I asked them, like, where do you live, friend?
Yeah.
And they told me.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm here, and it's a populated city. It's and they're like, like they don't have, there's no crossroads here. And I'm like, the roads don't intersect.
Right.
Where you live? Where in circular hell?
Yeah.
Are you residing? Yeah. Like the roads don't cross; they just go around.
Like the little roundabouts. Yeah, I mean, to their defense, I get it because living in Los Angeles, we have lots of intersections, and I used to worry like, well, how am I going to collect something? And then I was like, I'm just going to get it here on the side, just. And but then it made more sense. Like, literally, no one's paying attention. Like you said, you think everybody's watching you, and actually, nobody's watching you. Everyone's like on their phone or they're talking to somebody. You just scoop it up. Boop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody's paying attention to what you're
nobody's
doing.
paying attention.
I have
Really
literally been in a cemetery with a shovel.
not.
No one better than I. The
Yeah.
only time anybody ever looked at what I was doing was when I brought somebody from the Orisha community dressed all in white,
Oh
and we
God.
were dropping something off at a train track, and I'm like,
All white.
people gonna think we trying to blow it up.
Right.
So
Right.
no, like we got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, maybe next week you can come back on, and we'll talk about more New Orleans lore.
Oh, I would love that.
And because you know
Yeah.
what, we didn't even get to tell the ghost stories.
I know.
We
I
got so
know.
engrossed. So yeah, next week you can come back on, and we'll finish New Orleans, and we'll actually tell the ghost stories.
Yeah, that would be great. I would
Because you've
absolutely
got
love
one
that.
that's great, and then one of our good friends, Brian, submitted one
Brian.
that I think is absolutely awesome. And if I use this software, then I can put the pictures up because he actually included pictures
Oh wow. Oh, so exciting.
of a property that's haunted.
Nice. Very
So
exciting. Yeah,
yeah.
count me in, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll set it up. You know, probably
Okay.
same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see what's going on,
Cool.
and we'll just try. You know, not to get bitten out here.
Right. Unless I'm doing the biting.
Oh Lord, listen. Okay, listen. These dudes about to blow the chat up. They about to blow the chat up.
Oh no.
But listen, thank you so much, Sonny, and
Thank you for
we'll
having
definitely
me.
see you back.
Yes, you
And we're
will.
gonna talk about more new. Look at Bearded Pharaoh. Look, there we go. It's starting. Bearded Pharaoh. Look at him. There we go. Look, there we go. There we go. See, it's already starting.
I see. I see. Oh my
Yeah, watch out
stars.
there now. But yeah, we listen, because I have some more New Orleans.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. This is why I don't come on Saturday, because y'all
See.
get a little randy on Saturdays.
Lily. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really, really
Natalie.
appreciate it. Natalie.
Oh my goodness. But y'all go douse yourselves in some water. What's wrong with all? What's wrong with you? Look at this. Sonny is men and women. You just transcending the gender. Let me get it. Listen, but
Oh my stars.
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
y'all for tuning in.
Yes,
You can
thank you
find the
all for
audio
tuning in.
version of this on the Hoodoo and Haints podcast, wherever fine podcasts are played, or downloaded, uploaded, whatever. Whatever it is. And look, we didn't even take a break, so I don't even have to edit it. I can just upload this thing.
Wow.
And we're good to go.
Yeah.
Lord. Natalie. Sweet baby Jesus and the grown Jesus too. On that note, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Sonny. And hey, we'll hang out in Discord, y'all, at some point.
We will.
All right. All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.